So a really good day turns into a really good week, to a really good month, to a really good year, and ultimately a really good life. And all we can really do is take every day one day at a time. And if we're fully focused in the present moment, intentionally deciding, you're already on your way.
Right now, you got me feeling like I can't believe I let you go. I've been alone so long, and now I wonder what the hell we were thinking of. Oh, I can't believe I killed myself again. Well, now I'm letting go. And all my fear, I've been fearing this too long.
Before you do any of these 5 tips, you are already doing something first thing in the morning, whether you realize it or not, that is determining whether you have a good day or a bad day. And that is all up here, my friends. First thing in the morning, once your body wakes up, once your mind wakes up, you start creating and circulating thoughts again. Whether those be new thoughts or thoughts from yesterday that are focusing on the bad things that happened yesterday, or whether you're choosing to be intentional about your thoughts and getting to look at today as an opportunity for gathering more information and growing as a person and going out there and working on achieving your dreams, you are setting yourself up for a good day or a bad day. And it all comes down to what you're thinking in your brain and your perspective first thing in the morning. The reason that this is so important is because whether you choose to believe or you choose to focus on positive or negative thoughts first thing in the morning, pretty much priming yourself to have a good day or a bad day. And the way that this works is if you choose to have a good thought or a bad thought, you are immediately creating momentum. And momentum pretty much just means that the more positive thoughts that you have, the better your chances of having a positive, impactful, growth-oriented, exciting day will be, as opposed to having a negative thought first thing in the morning. You're focusing on it, you're attaching yourself to it, therefore a negative thought will create another negative thought, will create a negative experience, which will create a negative emotion, which will create a negative thought again, and before you know it, you're having a really terrible day. Same with a good thought. If first thing in the morning you realize, okay, I'm awake and I have a mind and it is super powerful and I get to control it, in the sense of you get to choose and you get to be intentional with the kinds of thoughts that you're going to have today. So it all starts with that. It all starts with the realization that you have a choice and that you are pretty much the creator of your own reality. As spiritual and new age as that sounds, it's very, very true. And it all starts up here in your mind. So if you decide to have a positive thought like, awesome, okay, that was a great night of sleep, now I'm awake, let's get to it. What can I do today that's going to make me feel good? What can I think about today? And what can I act on? And what can I focus all of my energy on today that's going to empower me, that's going to inspire me, and that's going to encourage me to take action towards having a positive day. So, with that being said, let's get right into it, and here are my 5 tips or my 5 habits that you should practice if you want to have a really good day.
Okay guys, so first thing in the morning after I've gotten myself out of bed, I've made my bed, I've brushed my teeth, I've washed my face, I like to get myself on my computer as soon as possible, listening to something or focusing on something that helps me grow in some sort of way. And the reason that this is one of my habits for a happy day is because I feel like so often many of us just kind of wake up without a sense of direction or really knowing what we're going to do, especially on our days off when we don't have work. So when you wake up first thing in the morning, it's a great idea to focus on something that is of value to you. So whether that looks like learning how to play the guitar, or just expanding your knowledge in something that you're interested in, or just maybe even studying for a test, or studying for classes, you are pretty much getting yourself on a trajectory of growing in an area that is of value for you. And when you are growing, it feels good. And if you take a look at your own life, I mean, I know this is true for my own life as well. Whenever I've woken up and have had really no sense of direction for my day, I don't really end up doing anything. And it's on those days where I don't really end up doing anything and I kind of just lounge around all morning, I don't end up having the best day. So if you can be really on top of that and focused on, okay, what can I do right now that's going to help me grow, your better your chances of having a great day are. So yes, I just sat down this morning and watched a video and started taking some notes. Habit number 2 that is extremely vital and extremely important in my day-to-day routine. I try to do this as much as possible, and I've noticed that whenever I do, it absolutely is a massive game changer for my day, and that is listening to something inspiring in the morning. So it's kind of along the same lines as step number 1, but I love to watch YouTube videos in the morning on motivational videos. So I don't know if you've ever watched motivational videos on YouTube, but there are seriously hundreds of thousands to choose from, and they are all so wonderful. So just picking something out early in the morning, whether you are getting ready for work, you are doing some much needed chores around the house, doing the dishes, getting ready, or even when you're on your way to work in your car, seriously, I cannot recommend it enough. Listening to motivational videos really kind of just gets you into the right kind of mindset that is needed for having a successful, positive, happy day. I couldn't recommend this tip enough, or this habit enough. It's seriously, I've noticed that whenever I do make it a point to listen to motivational videos in the morning at whatever point in my day, it helps a lot. It just really gives you food for thought. It makes you think about, your dreams, and it makes you think about your own limits and the limits that you set up for yourself, and the fact that, we can really do anything that we set our minds to. So yes, this morning was super into listening to a video called How to Love Yourself Again, and this is some of what I was listening to while I was doing the dishes.
A little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? What are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.
Okay, and so habit number 3 that I have for you guys is meditating. I know, I'm sure you've heard this so many times, that meditation is good for so many things, but coming from personal experience, whenever I've incorporated doing a meditation, even if it was just for 10 to 12 minutes in my day at some point, preferably earlier in the morning where you're just waking up and you don't have too much going on in your life or too much going on in your mind, taking that time to sit still and be present and come back to center with yourself and just being still is such a wonderful practice, and it's a really great way of starting your day off, centered. Starting your day off centered and present and at peace is always a really great way and always a really great advantage, and again, really great momentum if you're looking to have a positive, growth-oriented day. So here, before I start my meditation, I just burn a little bit of Palo Santo, which is used in spiritual practices such as meditation or any kind of spiritual practice. I mean, it just smells really good, which is primarily why I do it. So I've gotten into the habit or into the little ritual of burning this stuff before I meditate, just to get the smells and the aroma in the room. It's very therapeutic and it smells really nice. And then I kind of just get myself nice and cozy. I put my hands and my palms down on my lap and
have my back up against something so that my posture is not terrible. And I just focus on my breath, and I try to stay as present as possible and not getting too caught up in my mind and the chatter and the thoughts of the mind. Just being present with them, just being observant of them, and letting them go just as quickly as they came. So yeah, just meditating for about 10 to 12 minutes, and if you'd like even 15 to 20 minutes, is a really great way to set up your day. And even if it's in the middle of the day, you find that you're kind of going down a bad path, like you feel like you're in a bad mood, just meditating even for 10 to 12 minutes in the middle of the day is a really great way to reset and to start over. And that's the way that I think of meditation. It helps me come back to my center. It helps me feel present and at peace and connected to myself, and not so identified with my thoughts, because, you know, our thoughts are endless and they're always going and it's always there. And I think we can all agree that sometimes the mind and our thoughts can be a little overwhelming, especially when we're worried or stressed out or upset about something, and meditation helps with that. So yeah, I end my meditation with a quick little rolling of the neck and stretching my neck out and doing a little of that, and then I come back. So habit number 4 is making your own breakfast in the morning, whether you like breakfast or not. Like some days we all wake up a little hungry, and this morning was one of those days for me. I had a pretty good workout yesterday, so I'm making myself a post-workout smoothie the day after that has chocolate protein, banana, peanut butter, and flax. I like to add some medjool dates. Just one medjool date is the perfect amount for a little bit of natural sweetness to it. So I just take the pit out of that little sucker and I throw it in the blender. And then I like to add spinach. Spinach in your smoothies is just a really easy, really great way of getting your greens in first thing in the morning without really even having to taste them, which is why I like spinach, because you can hardly taste it in your smoothies. I also like to add spirulina powder to my smoothies, and I like to add just about a tablespoon of this because powder is really nutrient dense. It has copper, iron, magnesium, manganese, and potassium, just as a few examples, as well as vitamins B1, B2, and B3. I also like to add chia seeds to my smoothies. It's just been a habit of mine that I've done for years since I started making smoothies. And then I also like to add cacao powder every now and then to my smoothies, especially if it's going to be a chocolatey smoothie with peanut butter and banana. Cacao powder is a really great stimulant and it just makes it taste really good. And last but not least, I'm adding water to my smoothie because I was out of almond milk. And so the reason I've made this habit number 4 is because there's truly nothing like making your own breakfast at home in the morning. Whether you're a breakfast person or not, it's always nice knowing what ingredients are going into the food that you're eating. So yeah, that is habit number 4, making your own breakfast in the morning. Tip number 5, or habit number 5 that I have for you if you want to have a happy day, is simply getting out of bed. And I know this sounds really simple, that it almost sounds kind of silly, but I seriously couldn't recommend waking up at a decent hour enough, because from personal experience, I've realized, and I've definitely become observant of the fact that whenever I tend to sleep in on certain days until like 9 or 10 in the morning, I don't have a productive day, and I've already pretty much set myself up for having a lazy day, because instead of sleeping in, I totally could have used those 2 hours for doing something productive, whether that be getting an early workout in, or what is more productive than sleeping in an extra 2 hours. Learning how to maximize and using as many hours in my day that I can to be productive and to be happy. It all starts with what you do first thing in the morning. So that is why waking up at a decent hour is my tip number 5, and getting out into the world and going out and exploring. So yes, that was my 5 habits for a happy day. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you thought. And yeah, I hope you guys have a happy day.